Colonel Rob Maness has a lifelong record of providing dedicated service to this nation. Having worked his way up from the enlisted ranks to full colonel, he served our country for more than 32 years. He has served as a bomber squadron commander, bomb disposal technician, Joint Chiefs of Staff operations officer, assisted the national security team with the campaign plan for the global war on terrorism. He authored the first theater nuclear war plan and served as the vice commander of America's largest airborne intelligence wing. Colonel Rob Maness is a true American hero. This is Rob Maness Live.
Katie Davis-Court has been on the ground covering Antifa and is a post-millennial reporter. All right, your eye looks better. How's it feeling, Katie?
It definitely still hurts, but it is healing a little bit, so that's good.
Good. So the Portland Police Department is blaming you for getting jabbed in the eye.
Yeah, can you believe this? So not only did Portland police refuse to detain my assault suspect that I hand-delivered to them, they submitted court testimony in a court of law blaming me for my own assault and falsely accusing me of being a counter-protester. I have taken this as a declaration of war against myself, and it's a battle that I am determined to win. Portland police will have you believe that they have this situation under control and that federal intervention is not needed, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. The truth is that Portland police has had zero ground presence outside of ICE since late June until now. They have abandoned the citizens of Portland, leaving them to fend for themselves against domestic terrorists who are assaulting, maiming, who really actually want to kill their political opponents. But most importantly, I think is worth mentioning is Portland police has abandoned their brothers and sisters in law enforcement, the men and women of ICE and FPS who have faced relentless attacks for the past 4 months. Portland police is in charge of this zone, and they're doing absolutely nothing about the rioters. And now they have taken it upon themselves to actually arrest journalists who are having to defend themselves against these domestic terrorists. So the Department of Justice is right in their decision to investigate Portland police, and I hope to see this hammer of justice be brought down on them.
Yeah, it looks like the Portland police are more concerned with the journalists filming the chaos than they are with the people creating it. They're saying that independent journalists are provoking Antifa and trying to get assaulted. Have you seen that?
Absolutely not. What I have seen is the second a reporter that they believe is against their cause walks into the scene, they immediately surround them, harass them, and threaten them with violence, and then they actually commit violent offenses. I've been covering this for 4 months, as I said, since June, and the amount of violence that I have faced just for trying to do my job, I could probably write a novel, and it needs to end, and this is all Portland Police's fault.
All right, well, they messed with the wrong woman, that's for sure. Katie, we're glad we're doing a little bit better, and keep up the great work. You're very brave.
Thanks, Jesse.
Welcome back to Whistleblower Wednesday here. The Rob Maness Show's live on World YouTube and our X Spaces simulcast. Well, Portland, Oregon, Antifa terrorists are controlling the streets, ladies and gentlemen. They are actually controlling the streets. You heard me right. You heard me right. They are controlling the streets. The Portland police give control of the traffic on the streets around the ICE facility to Antifa, a declared domestic terrorist organization on a routine basis. Residents who live in the neighborhoods around the area are too terrified of retaliation to complain, and when they try to drive to and from their homes on their own streets, the police threaten them with arrest. It's true. I saw it. This is routine here in an American city now. Oh, my goodness. The police are even arresting independent journalists for trying to cover the story, even in light of clear evidence. They've done nothing but try to do their jobs. Independent journalist Nick Sortor was even arrested for acting in self-defense when he was assaulted by Antifa terrorists on camera. It's unbelievable. Well, my guest today is Chad Cation, who went to Portland and witnessed much of what you're seeing in these videos firsthand. He and I are going to discuss his operational field work in the city this week, organizing with patriots to oppose these Antifa operations. Chad is a former US Navy Seabee, retired firefighter, and first responder, Trump Campaign Veterans Coalition surrogate, GOP political activist. He's national field director of the conservative Caucus now, and he's also war wounded from this combat out there with the Antifa terrorists. Chad, welcome back to the Rob Maness Show.
It's good to be here with you, Colonel. Man, I'm a little tired. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little messed up. So went through
You just
the wood
got
chipper
home
up there in Portland.
You got home last night, right?
Yeah, I got home last night.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what time. I fell asleep.
Well, ironically, as we are having our conversation, the president of the United States is meeting with a bunch of the folks that you were out there with in the White House right now. But we're here live, so you can tell the story of what you saw happen. Now, you went out. I saw that you went out when you saw Nick get assaulted there. So you got there, what, Thursday night? Last Thursday night? Is that right?
I got there Friday night.
Friday night. Okay, so
Friday night, I think.
Give folks a feel for the operational area, lay of the land. Well, first of all, though, let me just say that you and Warboy Studios, Rob the Patriot, or Patriot Rob, did something unique. And innovativeness with media coverage is not new to Chad Cation, folks. He's the reason why we can have our X Spaces simulcasts that this show does routinely now, because he did some innovation and figured it out. So you guys, this is the first time I've seen a studio, a totally independent studio that's not got a lot of money behind it, something like RAB and those kind of things, link up with citizen journalists, independent journalists like yourself on the scene for so long. I think you guys were live for most of the days you were there, weren't you?
I think the longest one between switching back, because we had to save batteries, and nobody's letting us plug something in. Trust me.
Yeah.
We even had to send regular people to go get food because we were afraid they'd do something to our food if they recognize us. So, I think War Boys was open 12 hours. Let's say 8 hours, 12 hours, somewhere in there. And the idea of it was that in order for me to conserve battery, I could go over to Shell, who runs your space. She would keep it open for me, and K Daly and Drax and all those that helped, and they kept it open for, I don't even know, it may have been 48 hours really. And so I could jump into the space and give people audio very quickly. And if I saw something happen, it gave me an opportunity to jump into Warboard Studios by just hitting their link instead of filling everything out on X and trying to get a live out of a phone. It worked really, really well because we got some of the really good footage because I was able to jump out of shells and jump into War Boys in seconds because I could see what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to look at that, see if we can actually link studios so you can do multiple channelization of the live video feed to multiple stations, multiple studios, and increase the audience even more. I mean, I see a lot of future with that can overcome the craziness of the anti-American media that we have in this country now, from the local level.
And that's why I'm not at the White House. That's why I'm not at the White House right now, because I'm not pretty enough right now. I don't think, John. And I wanted to be here with you.
Well, I'm glad you're here with me. There was some other names that I didn't see at the White House I want to give a shout out to, because Matt Tardio is a friend of the show, former Green Beret, if I remember correctly. And he's done some great reporting from like places like Gaza Strip, and he joined you guys on the scene there. And I think between the two of you, your synergy really created something meaningful to tell the story in true life, man. And I appreciate you guys.
It really was special, man. Matt is Matt Tario being a Green Beret. You know, Nick's kind of just flies by the seat of his pants, and he's very smart about it. But at the same time, you throw a military operational thought process. Matt and I were like, no, yes, and then the organization of bringing in so many SF guys, so many team guys, so many just regular veterans, and we were able to out of the 3 nights that I was there for a very long time. We were 2-1. One night nobody came on Sunday, and it was just me, Matt, and Nick, and some other local pushback, and that's when the melee happened. But we came back Monday and took over again. So we're showing numbers win, and we tried to operationally show what that looks like, and I think we accomplished it twice, and we were allowed to get a ton of media for this Portland issue.
Yeah. Give folks a sense of the lay of the land around the ICE facility, because it looked to me as an observer that you guys were organized and rallied up at one corner of the ICE facility, but Antifa had control of the street leading up to that facility somehow, and was blocking public sidewalks and attacking people for walking on the sidewalk and those kind of things. But you guys brought in this is what was new. You brought in a crowd of patriots to cheer ICE on in the middle of all
Sure
this.
did.
How was that
We
accepted
turned
by
into
the
a baseball
Antifa
game.
crowd?
Yeah, we turned into a baseball game. It's kind of like a triangle, the way it all comes in there to the ICE facility. If you look at, there's some great pictures of Kristi Noem on the roof. And luckily, Saturday night when the big fight happened, Tario and I were on the ground. Matt was behind the wire up on the where Kristi Noem was. He was behind the wire with ICE, and that was Friday. Excuse me. Yeah. And this triangle right across from ICE is like this little triangle corner. And that's where you saw the big abolish ICE sign that they made. And the day I got there they had a big rally to have their weekend Antifa march. Well, I infiltrated kind of, and I sat there and I filmed them making the sign, and then when they decided to go marching, I led the thing. I led Antifa's march right to the ICE facility. And what they didn't know is we had been talking to Ben Bergram. Ben Bergram from Real America's Voice is down there with a huge sign that says "I love ICE," and we walk right into him. It's phenomenal footage. They all freaked out. And they're like, what is going on? And when we peeled off and went and hugged Ben Bergram, they're just the two little girls that were running their mouth and their foghorn things. They just looked at us like, what just happened? And they started yelling at each other. And they kind of realized the teams were made now. And they tried to take that corner right across from where we were with where ICE comes out every time. And we moved them off. It took about 3 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yeah. How were the patriots that showed up?
Man,
they seemed pretty energetic.
They love that we were there. Like they just walked up, Chad, man, my name's so-and-so. I was with this. Sorry, I've just got a note that my mic's cutting out. Hope it's not too bad.
No, you're good.
I had all of this go down, and when these patriots would show up, they're like, we're watching this, we're watching your live, we're watching your, or they're watching Tommy, the famous, two-time Tommy, who might be the next UFC heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not real sure. What a good guy. But these people would come here to me and Matt and Nick and want to take pictures and be like, dude, we've been waiting for this. We've just been waiting for somebody to stand with us. We're tired. And then all of a sudden, Saturday night, my favorite was where we're like, this is your town. We're talking about it. And apparently a big group of guys that play basketball and wrestle or whatever down there at Portland State, they're like, what do you think? Let's go. Next thing you know, these huge trucks start coming through with American flags and these enormous train horns. And so Antifa was like, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, whoa. I was like, oh boy, the cavalry's here. And the best part about that was watching the ICE officers. You just watch their confidence all of a sudden, and they're like walking around a lot taller right now because they're not chanting whose streets, our streets. We were chanting USA, and we watched the guys on the roof. We watched the guys on the second roof. The guys that came out were winking through their masks. They were ecstatic. Awesome. And that's when they were able to have the wherewithal to walk across that street after they came out one time and they cut that abolish ICE sign down, and the place went crazy.
Absolutely, man. Well, we got to take a break. When we come back, we got a hand up in the audience, and we'll see a clip. I think it's Nick talking to somebody. But watch the video. It shows how Nick was attacked. Nick Sortor was attacked, and they're very clever, these Antifa terrorists. We'll be right back with Chad Cation on the Rob Maness Show.
We have a big announcement, folks. It's called Bella Melt. In the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we've talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel.
MelissaHouseBG.com just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
Absolutely wild scene unfolding right outside the ICE facility. After Nick Sortor was trying to show what was happening inside the Antifa refueling tent, an absolute melee broke out.
I don't know, man. I got you.
Thomas Allen, he was been targeted all evening for wearing MAGA gear, his MAGA cap and wearing the Charlie Kirk shirt. He just got arrested. They just took his MAGA cap. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Fuck that, bro.
Wow, you saved the MAGA cap. You saved it. All right, Thomas Allen's being escorted out by Portland PD. Allen's being targeted again by Antifa militants. They tried to steal his MAGA cap. Portland PD is arresting Thomas Allen. Wow. They're taking him in zip ties. So, again, this is the type of powder keg and ecosystem that has continued to explode out of control here in Portland. City officials continue to allow and enable this situation, and there's absolutely no end in sight.
Welcome back to the Rob Maness Show. It's Whistleblower Wednesday. My guest is Chad Cation, who you saw in that video. If you look closely, that was Jonathan Cho talking. I had the wrong clip teed up there. And that clip's from Turning Point USA Frontlines. That's a media outlet. You need to help those folks out if you could go to their online donation site. The stuff costs money. It costs money to fly for Chad to fly out there. It costs money for Matt Tardio to do the things he did. And all of these guys and gals that are out there have to get paid somehow. And Chad, one of the things I wanted to get your eyewitness take on is the police turning the streets over to Antifa. I've been tracking Portland and Rose City Antifa for a long, long time, many years now, and reporting on it. This was the first time I'd ever had a factual report that this had happened. It had been rumored that they were doing this, but they really did turn street and traffic control over to Antifa?
I need you to hear me right now, Colonel, and I have it all, and we're trying to cut all of that live. Antifa runs the police department. I'll say it again. Antifa, Rose City Antifa, owns the police department. It is. Wow. There's no question. There's no way around it. I have video of a girl twerking, showing everybody her vagina on the Patriot corner, and I have 5 bicycle cops telling Chad Cation to get off the street when I'm 3 steps off the curb. then and 50 of them out in the middle of the street. And then when they're done with me, they go and they ride around Antifa. We were followed by them. They were always watching us when we started to do stuff, and they were constantly trying to look for things. And that's when a lot of those veterans came, and they're like, "You guys keep your hands in your pockets." When they know they know that we are being targeted. That's why I have a scarred up face because getting in that melee right there where we asked the cops, we're like, isn't that a public sidewalk? And they're like, yeah, we have every right to walk down that public sidewalk. But Antifa has an entire encampment on that sidewalk. That's where they have their milk. That's where they have all their food. And I say milk because they pour milk on each other's face when they get bear sprayed or maced.
All right.
And then they have all the water down there to help them with the CS gas, which is why my throat's messed up. And Shell, I did get spicy, but it's still CS gas. I mean, my throat is what it is. But we were yelling out there doing a lot of videos. So, but all of that in there, they never. We had proof of being hit. The people that hit me, we had proof. The people that grabbed and tried to hurt Nick, and we're showing him the pictures in the video. And they're like where you saw me and Nick in that tent, and they tried to take his flag. Right. We were proven that they own that sidewalk. And so when the police, the cops came down there and they did that investigation, they said it is a public sidewalk, but you guys instigated. By walking on a sidewalk that you told us we were allowed to walk on. I have it all on tape.
Yeah. Wow.
And they were trying to figure out a way to arrest me.
Yeah.
Because I put a couple people in that train station area down there.
Yeah. They were obviously targeting you. I was watching it over time.
After that, we put Nick was gone after that. We got rid of Nick because we were afraid that they were going to target him again.
Yeah.
So we sent Nick out.
That's probably prudent. We got some questions in the audience. Let's go ahead and take one real quick. Shell, go ahead.
All right. Just an update, sir. And Chad, Tommy Boy has now lost his job being a patriot, sir. AC Truth, go ahead.
Yes, Chad, thank you for all you did, and thank you for your bravery going out there so you could report what's going on. And since we can only count on independent reporting, for those that might get out there and independently report, if they don't have a military background or they are not as secure in feeling safe, do you suggest they wear body cameras or hidden cameras so that they can record everything that's going on around them to bring less attention to the fact that they're reporting?
I didn't hear a whole lot of that. I don't know if she was cutting out or just wasn't working on my end, but I heard body cameras and the people that don't have military background. Look, I'm just going to say right here, if you don't have some kind of security apparatus around you, there's no reason for you to be out there. There's no reason for you to be out there any way, shape, or form. There was a guy stabbed. They found another guy dead down the road. We don't know if he was connected. I didn't recognize the dude. I saw a picture of him. I didn't recognize him. These people they don't care at all. And I don't know if it's part of your show, but we actually tried to do peace. We actually tried to talk it out. I had so many different interactions where I tried to find common ground with people that were spitting in the face of our federal agents. I tried. I always try. The difference between me and Charlie is that once I'm done trying, I don't do the turn the cheek thing. I don't. And that was kind of, and I never got arrested. I can honestly say that I pushed a lot, but I never swung necessarily at anybody. And they did. That's why you see my nose, my cheek is a skid mark from a pepper ball that bounced off somebody, bounced off their shoulder and hit and blew up in my face. My ribs hurt. That's the thing. They're pretty smart. When there's a melee, they go for the body. Because they don't want a video of them hitting you in the face, because then the Antifa police department can't really say, well, it's on NBC right now that you're punching somebody in the face. We have to arrest you. And
I think people are surprised when they see the umbrellas. What are they doing with the umbrellas, Chad? Tell people what they're doing with those.
So the umbrella, it's a excuse me, not Tet, but what is the? Come on, Colonel, help me with China.
Tactic.
It's a tactic that was used back in the day. Yeah, and they're able to hide whatever they want behind them. They move closer with the umbrellas. And then the whole idea is they don't want anybody filming them. That's why Tommy's really pissing him off, because he's having, 30,000 people on YouTube watching him as he's walking around calling them out. And the same type of thing. So they use those umbrellas to protect a lot of shot callers too. We'll see shot callers come in and leave. Because ever since Donald Trump made him a terrorist organization, there's a lot of names out there that are floating around as leadership, and they'll come in because, especially when we came in and flipped them out on that Saturday, and all hell broke loose. The shot callers started rolling through, saying, "Hey, this is what you guys need to do. This is." You can tell the cosplayers, the ones that just think Antifa is cute, and then that you can tell the actual Antifa guys. There's one of the leaders in Portland actually has an MMA gym. And he's pretty bad fella. And they haven't been able to do a direct connection because, like Antifa, they protect their leadership by saying, okay, but you go into, they say that he does late night training with Antifa. He has a conglomerate of maybe 100 that he's teaching how to be extremely violent and MMA type protection, which anybody should be able to do. But this is my point, is that we're seeing that these aren't just a bunch of goth kids that have decided to wear black and come out there and virtue signal. They've got actual tactics. There's actual military on their side who makes me want to. Never mind. I won't say it on the show, but it makes me really mad. And I got into it with a couple of them. It's an ideological fight that they can't answer to when in debate, and their only thing is terrorism and violence.
Yeah, when you try to engage with them in dialogue, peaceful dialogue, what kind of things do you hear from them?
I had two real conversations. One was supposed to be some big Antifa podcaster, and his name was Trevor, I think. And he kept wanting to get into these minutiae. We talk about what is the definition of due process, and when they realized that I just want to debate, it was fine. And me and Trevor, and there's a lot of people watching that debate, and we kept going off, and he kept trying to go into places that didn't make any sense. And that's usual, like any other debate. But Trevor was articulate. Trevor was smart. Trevor, I don't know what his name is. Asshole is what I would prefer to call him, Rob, if you don't care. Okay. But he would turn around all the time, like making sure his security apparatus was around him. And he got real nervous because I didn't sit there, and God bless Tommy, but he just goes up there and yells, right? And I'm sitting, I just want to talk. The world wants to know what is the major malfunction here. And we tried to have those conversations, and I tried to listen. I tried to find common ground. I always bring up Lindsey Graham. I even said to the entire Antifa, how many of you like Lindsey Graham? They're all like, boo, and they started yelling. I said, let's work on that, because I think he's a jerk too. And they're all like, oh, okay. That was pretty cool. Yeah. And then they, and I'm never going to find ultimate common ground. But if we don't continue to engage, like Charlie Kirk said, a friend of ours, then we're in deep trouble. And I said it to him. I said, dude, you refuse to understand that this is a national security issue. You refuse to recognize that this immigration situation is what a sovereign country looks like and is necessary. And there has to be guys to pick up that mess. And if you refuse any of that, then why? You're right. This engagement's worthless, and you guys need to kid up. We need to kid up, and let's just do this in the middle of the street once and done, and let's call it a day. And he goes, oh, that's what you want. See, and that's where it goes to. I'm standing with a bunch of military guys. He's like, oh, yeah, you got all you military guys who want to come in and kill us. I said, but that's my point. You won't budge. You won't try to look at this from another angle. And that's where we're going to continue to get hot. Well, and that's what happened.
Yeah. I got to take another break, but I'll just leave with this, and we'll come pick it up on the way back in. And we got another hand in the audience. We'll take in the next segment, Chad. But what I'm seeing is that they're the ones that initiate violence every single time in these situations, like it's their intention to do that. And our side doesn't initiate violence. We may go in and film. We may try to interview people. We want to observe. We want to record and document. But I don't see us, our side, initiating violence. And when you have one side that lives off violence and the other side that opposes that, there's not much place to go anywhere when it comes to protecting yourself, except for to be ready for self-defense. We'll be right back with Chad Cation, who was on the ground for many days here in Portland, watching this craziness and reporting on it.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. I want to thank you for all your support at wvwfoundation.com that helps make possible pushing out 24/7 content for free. Without your support, we'd have to put it all behind a paywall. But thanks to you and your support through our foundation, we're able to push it out for free as a broadcast service and broadcast ministry of WVW Foundation. Please consider going there and setting up an automatic monthly contribution, or go there and make an occasional contribution. If you prefer to support us through the mail, you'll find our mailing address there at wvwfoundation.com. You can also call and make your contribution over the phone by calling 901-825-0652. That's 901-825-0652. Again, all these details are available at wvwfoundation.com. Thank you for your support as we try to help people around the world understand the times through the lens of a Christian worldview.
I've gotten it on video multiple times now of people, like different people coming up to me saying things like, oh, well, you know, if you come around again, you're going to end up being Charlie Kirk. I mean, these people celebrate violence. And, you know, because they walk up and say, I'm a Nazi. They call everybody on the right a Nazi, right? And that alone, if people genuinely believe that somebody is a Nazi, they have no problem with committing violence against them. And, you know, I came out here originally, Sean, to expose the Portland police. But within hours of me being here, they exposed themselves. So I really didn't have to do much. It's been like this for the longest time, where the residents next door to this ICE facility out here are miserable because they're stuck in a lease and they can't sleep at night because people are screaming in the megaphones at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's not fair. And they're afraid to speak out because if they do speak out, they're going to end up being attacked too. I mean, these people need help.
Welcome back to the Rob Maness Show. It's Whistleblower Wednesday. And, you know, we've got a great group of patriotic Americans that are blowing the whistle on Portland again. This is not new. Rose City Antifa out in Portland is in control of a lot of aspects that folks are surprised by, but those of us that have been observers of this, like Nick Sortor there, who was talking about why he went out there to expose the Portland Police Department, which, as Chad Cation, my guest today, has said, is controlled by Rose City Antifa. That is just mind-boggling that an American city police department like Portland, Oregon, is controlled by a terrorist organization. It's unbelievable, but you better believe it. It's happening. Chad Caton's my guest today. Chad, we got a hand up in the audience. Let's go ahead and take that before we get too deep into this. I want to get your take on the residents there. Go ahead, Shell.
We have Wib, sir.
Thank you, Shell. Thank you, Colonel. Thank you, Chad. Glad to see you're back safe and sound, although a little worse for wear. Something I have not heard anybody talk about is, since being declared a terror organization, did you get a feel for how the Antifa folks themselves are feeling about that? If it's a badge of honor and using it for recruiting purposes, or are they actually, you know, second guessing themselves?
Interesting question. I would go both ways. Having talked to Antifa in my debates, you know, they use that, oh, we're just a bunch of young people out here that don't want to put up with it, blah, blah, blah. It happened in the 60s. And, you know, that's kind of their thing. And they're like, now we're a terrorist organization. That's an authoritarian thing. You and Donald Trump are both fascists, and you're trying to take over this country. We're not letting it happen. Blah, blah, blah. But the higher ups of Rose City that has been, you know, committing terrorism for 10 years, 15 years, they're not out here with the numbers they used to. A lot of them have gone underground. We've heard some of them have actually moved. We've seen in their comms on Telegram and whatnot that they're telling people to move, pack up their stuff. The feds are coming, blah, blah, blah. The ones that have really been out front. like me and Colonel, if there's ever another Democratic president, we're probably in trouble. But and I hope that answers your question on that, because Antifa, and the nomenclature of making it a terrorist organization, and everybody's always on my why aren't they just arresting them? There's no jacket, there's no blue versus gray, you have to still commit a crime. You just, because you say you're Antifa, or the Krastensteins would be in jail right now. That's not how it works. Everybody stop doing that. Learn the game, damn it, because it just sucks being yelled at by people saying, why isn't this happening? Well, you don't understand what the hell you're talking about is the biggest problem. So what the idea of the terrorist organizations, they're going after the money. They're going into people's IRS tax returns. They're going into businesses that may be used as a front. They're going after almost, and I was told, 40 different liberal organizations that get grants. Those grants are what is running Antifa, is what we're being told. The U.S. grants, our money is the money is being used. And that's where you stop this. Well, not necessarily Portland, because this is more ideological in what they think they're doing, because somebody lied to them. They're just getting funded by those outside areas.
I think there is a domestic version of USAID that's funneling my tax dollars to different NGOs and nonprofits that end up funding the main Antifa organization that does the training, the recruiting, and those kind of things. And all of that's got to be looked at. I mean, those are machinery that you can actually find if you investigate it thoroughly enough, and then start tearing it apart that way. To go after, like you said, you can't always identify the frontline troops that are out there unless they actually do something. That's the challenge with terrorist organizations. They operate in cell structure, and their funding is hidden. Their command and control is hidden, and their operational planning and training is also hidden. And you got to find out all that. Now we've got a long way. We've come a long way. I think if they'll talk to Andy Ngo, and I think he got invited to the White House today, which is good. Andy Ngo, NGO. You should go follow him if you're not. He's done some of the most thorough reporting and investigating on these guys. As a matter of fact, that's how I first learned about Rose City, is that he infiltrated a training session by veterans. That's where I first saw it, and I'm like, oh, veterans are training these guys. So they're definitely well organized.
Can I make a correlation real quick, Colonel?
Go ahead.
So everybody's probably sitting at home going right now, what in the wide world of sports, and how does it happen where the Antifa is running a large city's police department? Well, how do we end up with a state like Minnesota, or a town like Dearborn, Michigan, that is completely been taken over by Muslim extremists in the government? They're the mayors. We're watching it happen in London. They have 17 mayors now around the city of London that are being ran by Muslims. And so the other people are taking these playbooks, and Antifa themselves, and that came out, they're definitely backing the Muslim Brotherhood. So I'm sure they're getting money from there, because somebody came with an Israeli flag. And what you saw was they're using this. It's the same thing that how you ended up with Ilhan Omar. They're just on a smaller level in Portland. And that's why I keep telling people, and General Flynn keeps telling people, that local action has national impact. And that's how you can see it's happening, but on the negative, and where they're trying to take away our way of life.
Yeah, it's the Red-Green Alliance. When folks hear us talk about that, the Marxist, communist, which is Antifa, allied with the Islamists, which is the green part of that. I don't know if you saw the news reporting out of New York City last night, but major demonstrations calling for more October 7th, even more aggressive, and to kill the Jews, eliminate them from the river to the sea, all of those things. And they're all supported by Antifa types. They work together, and they've got a foothold in this country in some very strategic key areas. New York City's 8 million people. My goodness, if Mondami wins that. So did you get a chance, and I saw a lot of videos, so I'm hoping you did, get a chance to talk to some of the folks that live there? I saw videos of some of them trying to drive on the streets and being told by the cops, you're going to get arrested if you keep driving on this street. And they're trying to get to their homes, for God's sake. I mean, what are folks telling you guys when you talk to them that live there that are not Antifa?
The people that live in the apartments right directly across it, and so much of the video, there's like 4 patriots up there that actually will give video to police. They have cameras, and the police will, through our Patriot connection there, they know of these particular places that have filming, so that when they're filming, we have a like eye in the sky that they're giving police to help, to exonerate people like Tommy or Nick or myself, even when we got attacked in that tent. But they can't go out, they can't say anything. I have never felt happier to get on a plane, but sad at the same time as I'm sitting on my couch watching Tommy get attacked last night. I wanted to be there with him. I wanted to stay there until the job was done. And so the people around there, and I talked to a little lady, she told us she lives in a nursing home right there. And once she realized that we were MAGA, she started just with the usual crap. There's a whole lot of people that support them. There's a lot of people that support Antifa there. But you take a 2-mile walk outside of this particular corner, there's a lot of people that are over this stuff bad. And the people in that apartment, we're told, by and large, are super tired of this crap. Not because of the ideology, but because, there's full-on explosions happening outside their apartment every night. There is pepper balls that are shot out of gallon guns that end up on their stoop. But they can't go out and say anything. And there's been one guy there's a great video, I think Oasis did it, who interviewed this guy. And he said, I've never wanted to talk, but I've just had enough. And I'm watching the violence get worse and worse and worse and worse. So they're starting to talk. But there's also a lady, when I did a rally, a black lady that came out that lived there in those apartments and said that you guys should never leave ever. I've never felt safer. So they've got their BS on each side, It's and I'll be honest with you, walking around, and after Saturday, Nick, of course, but myself and Tario, I'm walking down the street and they're like, I see you, Chad. Or I see you, Matt. I mean, it's like the city is all, they got eyes everywhere. And we learned that. I had Antifa outside of my hotel. They had them outside of their hotel. When Nick did that interview that you were watching, I was right off camera watching people on that riverfront, because that's where that's their little highway where they move everything. And we had Antifa stalking us while he was doing that Sean Hannity hit. And I was watching his back.
Wow. Yeah. That's one of the things you guys were doing there, was not providing for security, but you were able to secure yourselves as you were conducting this activity, whether it's a patriotic helping ICE or observing or doing freedom of navigation on the sidewalks. You were securing yourselves. People need to understand that. I think you mentioned it before, but you really do need to be with folks that have an understanding and a plan, right?
Yeah, and we beefed up our security because of my beautiful wife, and that's, I was the only one that was married out of the 3 of us that are there, but my mother-in-law, I call her Ma Den, and my beautiful wife, the minute I said I'm leaving, she said, okay, help me pack. I was leaving in 2 hours, but she had to sit there and watch that happen, and she's like, she was really funny because I'd be live and I'd see a text from her like, they're circling you, Chad. They're circling you. So even from here in South Carolina, my wife was standing tall and trying to keep me safe. And I showed her, I've got special forces guys with me. I've got military guys. We have the numbers. And I didn't lie to her. I showed them to her. So my wife just wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing anything stupid. And Colonel, I can get weird, but I'm not going to get stupid when it comes to life and limb and the people around me.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I was watching it. I was comfortable with what I was seeing going on in the background with everything. It's one of those things, folks. This is a very dangerous situation. I think Portland's probably the most dangerous situation in the country when it comes to terrorists. Say again.
Hands down. I actually had a great conversation with another guy named Wid, who is covering Chicago. Completely different situations. There is a lot of Hispanics that want ICE. They brought the state police there for security, and the Hispanics that are there, we'll call it the pushback, and it's not overtly Antifa. This is an Antifa problem. Chicago is a Hispanic thing, and the idea of immigration. I'm sure Antifa's flying a flag, but just because they're all intermixed, right? But they're completely different situations. And this is in the city of Portland. Chicago's is like 30 minutes outside of Chicago, so. It's not like they can take those little thoroughfares and show up, right? They've got to actually get it together to do that. And when the state police did show up in Chicago, the Hispanics were nice to them. They want the ICE off. That's what they want.
Yeah, they want ICE out of there, right?
Yeah, and Witt even said, even with all the explosions and everything that happened, like there's a riot every hour in Portland. When in Chicago, he said we had one that turned into a riot. They didn't care about journalists. They saw us with cameras. They realized that we were filming, and they didn't care. We are targeted in Portland.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, we got to take our last break. When we come back, we'll see your video of a flag burning and why you have those marks on your noggin there, Chad. We'll be right back with Chad Cation.
All right, everybody.
News is moving faster than ever, and so are we. Worldview Tube brings you 24/7 live stream coverage and now real-time alerts when it matters most. Once you have the Worldview Tube app installed, exit the app and navigate your way to Settings. In Settings, locate the tab labeled Notifications. Select the Notifications tab. Scroll down until you locate the Worldview Tube app icon. Select the tab, and here you can turn on and customize your notification experience for the Worldview Tube app. News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Turn on push notifications to stay informed. Every headline as it happens.
It's an American flag. They set it on fire. Nick won't have it. Nick won't have it.
Back, back! Hey, you guys keep it peaceful! Come on, baby! I want you to round up! Hell no! Give us some time. It's your right to do it. It's our right to stop it. Remember that. Remember that.
Are you okay? Are you okay? No pokes? Huh? No pokes?
Welcome back to the Rob Maness Show. We're live on Worldview Tube and our X Spaces simulcast. That's my guest right there, Chad Cation. I'm fired up on X out in Portland, Oregon over the past few days, pushing back against the Antifa terrorists, supporting the ICE law enforcement folks, and energizing the patriots there to actually come out and support federal law enforcement who are there to do their jobs. And Chad, that was not the first American flag burning that I saw on video during your time out there, but I think it was the last one.
You're damn right it was.
Yeah, exactly.
That was when Antifa realized I'm done with them. And I made it abundantly clear. There's a fantastic video of me absolutely losing my shit on everybody, including the leader, the Chechen. He came up to me and I said, "You better walk away, and you better walk away right now, and you go tell all your little friends that they need to leave." That was that after we went over and talked peace, and that was their way to throw a middle finger at us.
So that's what happened. That was after you talked peace. They decided they were going to burn the American flag, and there it is, right there.
And now it's going to be a symbol everywhere I go.
Exactly,
we have it,
as it should be. As it should be. That they're the same kind of people, like the Islamists that we saw conduct the October 7th atrocity operation out of Gaza. That is the exact same kind of people. They don't care about you. They don't care about your life. They don't care about your family. They just care about the power goals that they are trying to achieve, and they don't even care about the supposed religion they're a part of. That has nothing to do with this. is all about them wanting your power and keeping their power, and you not being able to be free enough to be prosperous and free in this country and free from their crap in this country. Chad, we got a hand up in the audience. Let's go ahead and take that before we get to the end of the show. Go ahead, Sean.
We have Cookie, sir.
Good afternoon. I watched quite a bit of your stuff. I was pretty disappointed in a lot of things I saw. The thing that disappointed me most was the lack of action from those officers out there. To me, is tarnished badges. So my question for you, I had two. One, were you able to have any on the record, off the record conversations with either the Portland officers and or the any of the ICE officials? Kind of got their view of what they're seeing and whatnot. It didn't look like you had at the time, or from the times I've watched.
Yeah, I talked to. They have these things called liaisons. They're garbage. They're a waste of time. They're social workers with badges, and I tried to have great conversation with them. Nick, myself, and Tario were all talking to them about. There was another female that was there that was a veteran, and she had been attacked. We had it. It wasn't really much of a melee. It was just another girl came over and tried to gas her, which is where they throw piss at you. And they have fire extinguishers with poop and piss and bleach, and then they charge it with air so that it will squirt out all of that nastiness. There's a great video of our buddy Ryan taking 55 or like a Subway cup of piss to the face. They stood there. And I finally just lost it, and I said, "Do your effing job." Your job and the number one job of government is the safety of its people. You walk around with a badge and a kit and you stand there and let it happen. And he told me I probably should shut my mouth.
Oh, he's threatened that he's going to arrest you. Right?
That's all I ever had to anything to do with the police. When I was speaking, the entire world, even Korea had a camera there. I'm sitting there trying to talk peace with this lady they call the mama. And I'm sitting there talking to her, and this 6'4" bike cop in a yellow, and please somebody start cutting up my lives. I just can't go through them all. And he went in there and he said, "Excuse me, I need you to come with me." I'm talking peace with the Antifa and a whole bunch of patriots that are pissed off. And I'm trying to find some semblance of say, hey, we even brought hot dogs. Let's barbecue. Let's talk some shit out. I don't know. We tried like hell. And this cop looked at me and said, "Come with me." And I'm like, why? I'm on the sidewalk. What am I doing? And finally, little mama, the one they call little mama, she said his name, like Jerry or something. And she goes, "It's fine. It's fine. It's fine." And she's doing this. And he's like, "Okay." And he goes and walks away. "Hey, Jerry," who had sergeant stripes, "I got this. Little mama's in control. Go ahead. Take your little bike team and go over there. He's okay right now."
So he's taking direction from Antifa.
Thing I've ever seen.
Taking direction from Antifa in the field.
Taking direction from Antifa. I watched it happen. I have video of Antifa sitting with 20 cops on bikes. They're like crisscross applesauce within them up there talking to the cops.
That's amazing.
You cannot make this up.
Yeah, you can't make it up. That's why I wanted to do this show. And we're going to do it often as we can get reliable reporting on this stuff. I'm going to take it every opportunity to get this out. This is part of that whole 5G warfare stuff that Boone Cutler and General Flynn have written about. And if you guys don't have the books, you need to go get the Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare and all of the volumes after it, folks. Chad, when you were when the ICE guys were making arrests, I saw the Home Depot cart memes, which was pretty funny.
I love our ICE agents at this. These guys are battle-proof.
What were the lines crossed that resulted in ICE arresting some of these people?
Okay, well, part of their whole thing is so they called them the stormtroopers because they come out full kitted up, everything, you know. And when the Sallyport doors open, They give 5 different warnings. I'm sure you've all heard of the recordings. Like, this is an ICE facility, is currently closed, blah, 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 blah. You need, and including press, you will get caught in the middle of this. You know, it warns everybody where you need to be standing, and they're out there with their horns and their whatever. But it seemed like almost every time they came out, there was 2 or 3 people that were sacrificial lambs because they wanted to show how ICE treats them. So they would find a way. I watched one girl kick an ICE officer in the balls, and she ended up having a bad day. I watched 2 people that were out there yelling. There's a blue line. It's a very bright blue line. If you step on that blue line, I watched a Korean reporter. I actually have it on camera. I grabbed his jacket because he didn't know where he was supposed to go, trying to lean in to take a video of Antifa. And excuse me. And he was all over that blue line in front of me. And I turned around and grabbed his jacket and I yanked him. And right as I yanked him, it was all pop, 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 pop. They were shooting pepper balls at him. They didn't give a flip. Don't cross that blue line. And he looked at me and said, "Oh my God." And I said, "No." And he figured it out, I guess. And then that we would see the people come up there and grab them. They actually, when that meme came out, they actually started putting the cart right there. Like, there would be one guy left back there and he'd put the cart because everybody saw that meme, and they brought that cart back out just to show them the cart's there. And it was but what you have to understand is those people get arrested. This is where we know it's a problem also. They take 2 or 3. It's a big video. Everybody's watching it. They drag them into the facility. 2-3 hours later, they let them out. You know why they won't let them out, Colonel?
Why?
Because the police department won't take them.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can't hold. They can't hold them.
Are on an island.
Yeah, the ICE guys can't hold them. They can only pick them up and arrest them and hand them over to the local authorities, right?
And the local authorities won't take them.
Yeah,
but they'll come after me, Tommy, Nick, Tario. They're waiting to put handcuffs on us.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I see we got a hand over in the audience. Let's go ahead and take that before we get to the end of the show. And folks, I'll be in the space simulcast after the show, by the way. And Chad's already in there. He may stay for a few minutes too if he's got the time. Go ahead, Joe.
We have Naomi, sir.
Hey, Shell. Hi, Colonel. Hey, Chad. Glad you're doing okay.
I'm good.
I saw you on TV. I said, "Oh, there's Chad." Hey, I know you already talked about the residents that live close around there. What about Portland? It's never been the same since the George Floyd mess. What are the people out there like, or have you seen any of them or talked to any of them?
Did you hear her? She kept cutting out.
Yeah. She just wanted to know if you had been out to talk to the broader Portland citizens about all this. Things haven't really been the same since the whole BLM George Floyd stuff.
Yeah, I talked to. I've got a good friend named Don Powers. Our mutual friend Beardo, connected me with him. He was fantastic. He has a great horse ranch out there. He's like, you need to get out of the mess a little bit. I went out there in the afternoon. Went out there and pet some horses because people suck, but I love animals. And went out there and really talked to a lot of his friends. The people. His wife teaches dressage. She's a national champion. And they have a whole thing out there. I talked to quite a few people. And the surrounding area of Portland is over this. I mean, they're done. They're sick of it. They haven't been to Portland. I had a lady and brought her 2 daughters that were in their 12 and 14. And she's like, we're only down here because we saw your videos, Chad, and that you got a bunch of guys that are going to protect the group. You know, we can't just come down here. And we don't. Yeah. And it's crazy too, because 2 blocks away, everybody just goes on about their business. And it's like I say, you know, it looks like a war zone, and it is, and it's dangerous, and it is. But it's also where people are a lot of people seem to be, based on their ideology, okay with the new normal. And that is letting Antifa run wild because they align with them ideologically in Portland. Don't get it twisted. A lot of these residents are okay with what Antifa is doing.
Yeah, that's the part that concerns me the most, my friend. Well, we're out of time, unfortunately. Again, you're welcome to join me in the space here. I'll be there for at least a half hour, I think, unless somebody comes and grabs me and has me do chores. And you all know who that person is. Chad Cation, I'm fired up on X. I'm fired up 2 on X, I should say. And you need to go follow him. Chad, you got about 20 seconds left. What's next? Anything on the horizon?
I'll go anywhere. I just needed a couple days of rest and wash some socks because I never go into war with dirty socks. You know that's a thing, right, Colonel?
Absolutely.
But ladies and gentlemen, remember one thing. You have to stand in the breach. You can only do so much online. It's about showing up. It's about speaking up. It's about standing up for your republic. And it doesn't have to be a fight. I'm glad that I am marked. I'm glad that I got hit because there was a whole bunch of regular people that got to see it live and be terrified by what they saw. And now you have the president of the United States speaking with a lot of those people about their city. And hopefully may God put his grace on Portland because there is evil everywhere.
Absolutely, my friend. Stay safe, brother. Local action has national impact. You're watching it play out right now. The president's talking to the group. I see it on the tube. I'll see you tomorrow. Clay Edwards is my guest from Jackson, Mississippi. There's a group of conservatives in central Mississippi that opposed school choice reform, and I asked him to come on to tell us why. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I'll see you tomorrow on Truth Thursday.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see